Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's gameplay commentary. As you can see, today is the turn of Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and today I have
You'll note I'm the only actual war correspondent here.
Okie doke. I have a Copperhead match for you to enjoy. It is actually my first Copperhead match that I've shared with you guys and girls, and so today I'll be giving you some of my first impressions of the weapon and giving you a taste of what it can do. Today's match is actually pretty decent, if I do say so myself. I mean, you'll see at the end, but I think I do pretty damn well in this game. Right, so the Copperhead is one of the long weapons, an assault rifle, and it has a built-in scope and you can't take it off. So every time you ADS it will zoom in via the scope. It's sort of a mid-range scope. It's not quite as powerful as a sniper, but it's more than an RDS and it's better than a red dot sight sort of thing. Which means it's good at sort of medium to long range, but it's not great in CQC, as you can see, because obviously with the ADS it's kind of hard. You have to sort of, I don't know, I mean, in CQC you can sort of quick scope with it. I don't want to say quick scope because it's not technically a sniper or anything, but you can sort of zoom in quickly, and if the target doesn't really move around, then it's great, such as that's this guy here. If he's running towards you or away from you, in a straight line, then it's really easy because you just have to obviously keep track of them and then just put bullets into them. But as the guy that you saw earlier, he was kind of playing it smart. He was trying to run around. He didn't know that I had the Copperhead, but he had a sniper, and so he switched to his secondary and he tried to evade. Speaking of the guy, it's the same guy here, and so yeah. So if you run around like that, it is a lot easier to avoid than if you run in a straight line, especially if you think you've got a disadvantage. So yeah. So as you saw earlier, I did sort of have to rely on blind fire, and I sort of got lucky. Well, not necessarily lucky. I mean, he did evade me, but I eventually managed to put a couple of rounds into him and then knock him down with a melee kill. Well, melee attack, and then obviously he went down. So yeah, it sort of shines at mid-range the best. Long range you can use it, but because the good thing about this weapon, I should say, is that it does sort of moderate damage, but what really shines for it is the rate of fire. And this sniper, well, the guy that I crapped on earlier, he sort of crapped on the entirety. I didn't know where he was. I'd sort of peeked, thinking it was down the archway section, but he was actually with the rest of his team up there, so that was my own fault. But he got the headshot, so it's fair play to him. So yeah, it does moderate damage, but what really makes it shine is the rate of fire. It's got a really good rate of fire. That coupled with the recoil is actually manageable, very manageable for an assault rifle. But I think because of the whole scope thing, balance it out. So it's got a good rate of fire. Sort of okay damage because of the rate of fire. Maybe yeah, it's one of the weaker weapons, but because of the rate of fire, sort of makes it decent damage. And the recoil is manageable, but obviously you've got the scope, which means you can use it in CQC, but it's not a great weapon to use in CQC. And at long range, because of the rate of fire and because of the lack of damage per bullet, unless you are really accurate at long range, you're going to struggle to put down targets. I don't know what the hell I was doing here. I should have stayed where I was. He couldn't get the idol to move away from me without me shooting him, and even if I'd have got over there, he probably could have knocked me off anyway. So it was poor decision making for myself, but this is still quite early on in the game in terms of Uncharted's release, so I can be forgiven for making the odd mistake or two. So yeah, I mean, I really like the weapon, apart from the fact it's got a built-in scope. That is the thing that stops me from using it as much as I would like to use it. But on the flip side, if you took off the scope, this weapon would be way OP because of the fact it's got manageable recoil and decent rate of fire. It would be better than the HS39 if that was the case, which is why the scope is there and you can't take it off. Now, part of the DLC, they did release another weapon with a built-in scope, the Arrowhead, and I was hoping that would be better than this weapon, but it kind of isn't. And as you saw there, an example of me having to spray because obviously, again, you can't really ADS in that situation anyway, so spraying is the best thing to do there, and because of the rate of fire, it sort of worked out in my favour there, but with a slower rate of fire weapon, it probably wouldn't have done. What was I saying? Yeah, so the Arrowhead was released as part of the DLC. I do have the Arrowhead, and I've used it a couple of times, but I'm not a fan of it. It's got a much slower rate of fire than the Arrowhead. Even though it has a built-in scope as well, you can sort of choose to zoom in or not zoom in. A bit like the FAL. So you can choose to just ADS, use the iron sights, well, not iron sights, but the non-zoomed in sight, or you can ADS and zoom in, and obviously that uses the scope. The Arrowheads, I mean, I don't know. It's got manageable recoil, but the rate of fire is pretty slow, and the damage isn't that great either. So it's got all the drawbacks of the Copperhead, but none of the benefits, apart from the fact you can use the scope or not use the scope. but the rate of fire and the lack of damage is what makes it not a very good weapon, and so I kind of don't see the point in using it ever. If I want something at short range, I'll pick an SMG. The P90 is a beast, or the Fossler. I still haven't really showed you a match of either of those weapons yet, but stay tuned, they are coming and they are really good weapons, and again I've got some pretty decent matches I want to share with you, so I'm looking forward to talking about those weapons when the time comes, but for today it will be the Copperhead. And yeah, and at long range, if I want something like an assault rifle, then I'll probably pick the AK, which has got equally slow rate of fire but I think more damage. Or the HS39, which is an all-rounder because it's got the good rate of fire, but without the scope obviously it means you can use it in CQC as well quite comfortably, so it doesn't, I don't really see the appeal of using the arrowhead, apart from the fact it does look quite good, and you've got the variable zoom, but as I've already said, because of the lack of damage, the variable zoom's a moot point. If you can't kill enemies, then it's great you can zoom in on them, but if you can't shoot them before they run away, then, you know, it's whatever. Okay, so that's pretty much it really. I did think of a joke about the Copperhead. Do you know why it's called the Copperhead? Because it pisses ammo. And the reason why it pisses ammo is because of the rate of fire, but that's what makes it a good weapon. As you can see here, CQC, you're going to have to spray and pray. It's not a great tactic. It's unreliable, obviously, but you know, you can try an ADS, but it doesn't really work out too great because of the scope. So yeah, that's about it for the Copperhead. Not too much more I can say about it, to be honest. As I said, I do use it, but it is quite situational, and I think if you're playing against really good players who move around a lot, you're probably going to struggle a bit. The players I was up against in this match, well, they weren't bad, but obviously they weren't, well, I'll let you judge for yourself how good or not good they are, but I don't think they were the best players in the world, considering some of them were sniping, which this is a CQC map, and there was that one guy who did quite well, getting quite accurate with his headshots, but because of the fact you can get revives, it's sort of, well, he's not really helping his team. He's slowing us down, but he's not really killing us, so it's, you know, it's whatever. Yeah, so that's about it. Don't know what else to talk about really. Looking forward to co-op coming out soon. I don't know when it's going to be. I got a mad feeling it's going to be delayed. I don't want it to be delayed, but I got a feeling it's going to be delayed. And so they did say the end of summer, which is what we're coming up to now. We're coming up to autumn, well, start of autumn, I guess. Still maybe another month or so of summer, depending on where you live. But in the UK, we're coming up to autumn now. And so I got a feeling they're going to push it back to probably about Christmas, around December time, maybe another couple of months. I don't want it to be the case, but I just got a feeling, you know, I just got a feeling it's going to be the case. We haven't heard anything about co-op whatsoever since the game, well, actually we haven't heard anything at all. The game's been out for what, nearly 3-4 months now? Coming up to 4 months now the game's been out, and we haven't heard anything about co-op whatsoever. So either they're really good at keeping everything stum until they've actually announced it, or as I say, it's just a little bit worrying that nothing's been announced at all yet. And they did say they did say summer on the roadmap. Whether or not they're sticking to that really well or not at all, as I said, because they haven't said anything, there's nothing for us to guess. But I just got a feeling it's going to be delayed until Christmas or winter thereabouts, early winter possibly. So I hope not, but I am looking forward to co-op. I'm seriously in need of a good co-op game at the moment. I'm still playing Destiny with the boys, but everyone's working weird hours now, and it's just hard. It's just hard to get 3 of us all together at the same time. We've all got other stuff going on. The Olympics are over now, which is a bit of a shame. I did enjoy it, but it was getting to the point where, because of my time zone, everything was on really late. Well, early in the morning or late in the morning, depends on what your view of the things are. Put it this way, so most of the finals were at 10, 11 in Rio, which equates to about 2 or 3 in the morning here. And normally I don't mind staying up that late because I'm playing games or doing stuff for YouTube or whatever, but for some reason, just watching the Olympics, I don't know, it kind of screwed my sleeping pattern a bit. And I know that's silly because obviously, as I said before, I stay up late to play games and stuff. But just watching the Olympics was slightly different. I don't know why, it just affected me differently. And I did try to take like afternoon naps and stuff. And while that did sort of work, it just messed me up even further in other respects because of the fact I just wasn't used to napping. And I don't really like napping, to be honest. I like to sleep quite a lot. So short, like 1 hour, 2 hour naps, while you feel okay at the time, after a while it does mess you up, and so yeah, it wasn't working out too great for me. But I did enjoy the Olympics while they were on. I'm sort of glad they're over, even though I do miss the sporting stuff. I don't really watch a lot of sports in general, so I do try and catch like the major events when they come around, and the Olympics is obviously once every 4 years. And I do watch the Winter Olympics as well when they come around. But as I said, I did miss out on quite a lot of gaming as well because I can't multitask. You know, you can't play a game. Well, I can't anyway. I can't play a game seriously and watch something at the same time. I need to focus my attention on one or the other. Otherwise, I'm not really enjoying either of them, and that's just how I feel anyway. It's quite a long match. As you can see, we do go back and forth quite a bit. As I said, they weren't bad players. I just think, well, I was on form in this match. I thought I was anyway. And my team was sort of working well together, and their team maybe not so well together. As I said, they did have that sniper on the team, which even though he was downing us, he wasn't confirming and he wasn't carrying the idol as far as I could see. So not really helping out his team. Which it's a team-based game. And as I said before, everyone needs to pull their weight. You can't have one person slacking, otherwise it does really affect the team badly. And I think that just maybe at the end of the day we just worked better as a team and they just didn't. Oh, something to mention, there is an open beta for Titanfall this weekend. I'm hoping to get this video go up on Saturday, so at the time of this video going live, the beta should still be running. So if you're interested in playing that, then obviously download it from your respective store. I believe it's an open beta, and I don't think you need to do anything special to get into it. At least I hope not anyway. I'll be downloading that later tonight and probably get a few matches up in the coming days and weeks for you to enjoy. And also next weekend, if you didn't know already, is the Battlefield open beta. I will definitely be jumping on that for some serious hours. My holiday, as I've said before in the previous video, does happen to coincide with the beta. So that's a happy, lucky coincidence. So I'll definitely be putting some hours there, and I have pre-ordered the game, so I'm hoping it's good. Otherwise, I will be cancelling that pre-order. But as I said, this year I'm not getting Call of Duty, at least not straight away anyway. So I do need a good FPS game, and I need a good co-op game. So I'm really looking forward to playing those betas, and looking forward to playing co-op as well whenever it comes around. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. Okay, so yeah, the match is about to come to an end, as you can see. I didn't think I got any caps, but I got a lot of kills, as you can see there. Well done to the team for working together well. I've said it before, you can't just get kills in this game. You need to play the objective as well. My team were playing the objective, and I like to think I helped out. You get that many kills and that few deaths, I assume it works out well for everyone. Well, my team anyway. 31 and 3. It's like a 10 KD with a Copperhead, so it's a really good weapon. Alright, so that'll do it for this video. As you can see, the Copperhead can be a really good weapon. I still think it's sort of a situational thing. I haven't really tried it out on every single map all the time because I'm a bit wary of the whole CQC and long range drawbacks of the weapon. But as you saw there, it can perform quite well. Whether that's just me or the players that I was playing against, I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. If you've got any thoughts you'd like to share with me regarding the Copperhead, then drop them in the box below. If you enjoyed the content, consider tapping that like button. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.